Hello everybody, how you doing today? It's Friday. I thought I'd give you a little bit more of a look at Bongolo Hospital. We talked the other day about our water system. Well, this is Friday, and on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we do trash removal. As you can imagine, at the hospital we have quite a bit of trash, so I thought I'd show you where it goes, or at least part of it. You can see this is the hospital. That's our transformers, power supplies. That is an incinerator that was purchased, but it never did really work well. Kind of too small, kind of too much work. That's our actual incinerator right there. Now, we don't use the incinerator for everything, obviously. Some things you can't burn, like the metal cans and stuff like that. But we do use it for things that come from the hospital that are burnable. And that would be the paper products from there. Containers that they're done using, liquid bottles, plastic containers, glass, things like that, small vials. When things are expired in the APRO area, that's where they dispense, or the dispensary dispense the medical supplies and things like that for people. Those come down here and they go through the incinerator. As you can see, one of the problems that I've noticed since I've been here is that it's very old. It does burn the stuff pretty well, but you know, the doors are shot on it. I think you'd call them doors. I don't know if that's true anymore. But we load this sucker up as much as we can with all the bags and all the boxes and stuff, and we pour diesel fuel. That's what that container is there. We put diesel fuel in layers in that. Usually there's about 3 layers of it. Of plastic containers and stuff, a little bit of diesel, another bunch of bags and stuff, and we just load that sucker up. One of my concerns is right there. See that nice little crack down through there? Actually, when the incinerator is burning pretty well, you can see the fire coming through that area to a degree. I'm thankful we have a great draft in it, but I'm concerned that this thing is probably going to need to be replaced soon, before that upper section falls off or before it actually catches the building on fire. Even though it's mostly concrete and metal, the roof is supported with wood. So yeah, it's one of my concerns. Now, as I said, this is the stuff from the hospital. A lot of the paper products that has to be taken care of like this, medical stuff. We have another area where we also burn and then bury. That stuff in there does get buried also, but we just can't get it all in there and burn it at the same time. So over here we've dug this great big hole in the ground, and through it we burn stuff too. Now that pile right there, that's what we call laterite. It's kind of like a gravel, kind of like a dirt, kind of like sandstone, kind of like knot. But we use that a lot around here for the roads and repairs and things. It packs pretty well, but it tends to wash away in the rainy season. And as you've heard about the rains of Africa, yeah, that happens here. Anyway, this is our burning pit here, where we just haul stuff in. A little warm right here right now because they burned stuff recently. You can see there's old books in here from the hospital, urology. Some cable, different things. Anyway, that gets burned and it gets covered over and a new hole gets dug. Another pile of laterite. And sometimes it just gets pushed over the side, as you see there. Stuff that we get when we're doing construction or repair work. We can't bury everything or burn everything, so we bury it as best we can. Kind of makes our land area here a little bit larger. But that's how we do it. Over there, that is a soccer field that was built many years ago. A lot of times in the evenings we'll get kids from Dakar. That's that big town nearby here that I've given you pictures of. They'll come over and play soccer. Here's a basketball court over there, which also has tennis posts. Doesn't get used much. That's a storage unit that was built. Paul put that together with a bunch of help from people from the States. That's a container that came full of stuff for the hospital years ago. Actually, back when I was here in 2012, it had been here for a while. We dragged it down the hill with the dump truck, and they put it there and jacked it up and put pads underneath of it. And then on the very end, there's a little 20-footer. So you got a 40-footer, a 20-footer, and on the back side, that's a screen gate-in area where they also keep things. That's all basically part of our construction stuff that goes on here on a regular basis. This building over here, that's the tail end of what used to be the big warehouse. You can see from the roof how long it was initially. That was a warehouse. Right there is where a lot of stuff goes for hospital also. There's bandages, there's uniforms, there's just a wide variety of medical stuff in that area. This section through here, those are vehicles. The first one is the fire truck we have here. It's in there, it was donated. The second one is where we keep the backhoe. It gets used a fair bit around through here, trying to keep the roads a little bit cleaned up. Also, as you saw, we dig the pits with it and stuff like that. Right there, that's where our dump truck usually sits. Unfortunately, right now, it's not working. So it's up at the workshop. I've showed you that before. And in the end is a little old Kubota tractor. That poor puppy looked like it rolled down the hill one time when I was here in 2012. I don't know if somebody straightened that thing out and repainted or what, but it don't look half as bad as it did before. I'm just so thankful to see that thing in there. We also have a four-wheel vehicle in there. We used to call the mule. That poor puppy, she's just kind of not doing very well. She's buried back in the back with a bunch of other stuff. In there we also put our cement bags. We've got some other stuff up there in that one section right there. That's where Bedtech, the electrical contractor, is putting stuff right now. This here section, that's another warehouse area. That's where we have washing machines, and when we get our deliveries of stuff, a lot of it goes there. Supplies for the hospital, beds, lighting, oxygen units, anesthesia units, whatever comes in. It goes in there. And a lot of stuff sometimes for the missionaries goes in there too temporarily, and then it gets dispersed. You can imagine a 40-foot container of stuff takes up a lot of space. Hey, got something to show you today. Let me see if I can get in here. Sure I can. This area here is where we have the generator, the big one. This is the 400 kilowatt generator. That poor puppy there, that's called a three-wheeler. Made from a truck frame. Looks like some tractor tires. Look at that frame on that sucker. That's got a one-cylinder engine and it's diesel and a big wheel on the front. That thing's a bear to drive. It'll beat the crap out of you, but by golly, it'll go just about any place you gotta go. Big thing, you gotta remember, does not have reverse. So you're either gonna push that baby backwards or you're gonna park it someplace where you can roll it backwards. Anyway, here's that generator. That was donated by a man who'd been here several times. When he passed away, there was a chunk of money set aside to be used for something, whatever. And then people in that family decided to donate it to help out with our electrical system here. That sucker provides enough electricity, ample at this point, for this entire complex. The hospital, the missionary houses, the well pump system, everything is powered by that unit right there. She runs about once or twice a day at this point, sometimes more often, because our electric goes down by the local power company, which is, we've talked about, that's where the water generating hydroelectric plant is. Anyways, we've got a new electric system, new power controls in here. I'm not going to show you today, because I don't have the key with me. I'm going to show you though the other generator. This is the one that was here when I was here before. This is our primary generator. That poor puppy, that's a 200 kilowatt generator. Same cat design, just half the critter. It'll power the place also by itself, but she has to push awful hard to do it. We're a little bit more than what she needs to be doing on a regular basis when everything is turned on. But for emergencies, she's ready to go. She's also a diesel. And just to show you where our diesel comes from, we get it locally at the Gabon Petrol, it's a station. There is an old military tank right there. Look at that thing. That's a beast in itself. Look at that trailer. I'm amazed when I come back here and look at this. Now, she don't move no more. She's pretty well set in her place right now. But she's hooked up to both generators. So what we typically do is we buy our diesel in 55-gallon drums, which we carry here. We take them in town in the back of the dump truck, a group of guys do. They fill them things up, and then they bring them back here. And they have to unload them by hand. And when that tank needs filled, they roll them tanks around the back here, and they've got a little electric pump now that works off a 12-volt battery, car battery, and they power it with it. And they fill that tank with those 55-gallon drums until she can't take anymore. Store the rest of them back in the warehouse over here for another day. The other day I went down and bought diesel, one of the guys did, 600,000 francs. Dang, that was a lot of money. I'm not so sure it did all the tanks either, the drums. But we've got to have it, because with the hospital, you have got to have electricity, or people just don't make it here. I mean, you got oxygen generating units, you got all kinds of stuff they got to have electricity for here. So, just like I said last time, I really appreciate your help. Thank you for supporting Bongolo Hospital. Thank you for all the work you guys do when you come and volunteer. I had a couple guys here recently, and God love them, they redid some sheet work up on the ceiling area of the administration building. Fantastic. You know, for us, it was just such a tremendous blessing. And we're just so thankful for people that come and help out. You guys are just awesome. Well, as you can see, it's after 5, and I gotta go. But I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.